Hello everyone, I am Hadrian, and this is going to be an informal video, and it will be in two parts. I'm going to talk about the game I made, Beach of the Never. I'll share things I learned, design principles for narrative-based games that I learned while doing this. So, and since the game only takes 5 to 10 minutes to play, please just play it before you watch this, because there will be spoilers. And yeah, the first part will be this video here. Second part will be to those who feel like dropping a donation to be a supporter. Then you can get this little bit of extra content. Alright, so this game was made with DelightX. And this is originally it was something made for learning how to work with code or design 3D and VR experiences in the browser very easily. So a lot of students and younger people might have used it, or people who are not really programmers. However, this, do not discount it. It is incredibly powerful. Because it's so simple, it is very easy to just pick up and start using. And they recently released, I think in September of 2025, they released Nova, which is a version more for people, instead of people or students wanting to learn how to create games, more for people who want to design games, maybe slightly more professional crowd. So it's a really great program, incredibly easy to use, has drag and drop blocks to do almost all kinds of code logic. Yeah, you can do quite complex things, loops, functions, and everything. But you can also code, if you want to, using TypeScript or Python. Yeah, so design visually in the browser, publish instantly. Excuse me. So, so I'll make another video on DelightX specifically later. Alright, so let's talk about the game. And again, spoilers. So just spend 5 to 10 minutes to play it first before watching this. Alright, so I'll refresh this, start it from scratch. Alright, so focus of the game. Oh, let me move my face here. Alright, so the focus of the method of storytelling was mostly without dialogue or audio of any sort, mostly through environmental storytelling, so placement of objects to tell the story. And this is often a much more powerful way, I feel, of taking use of the medium of interactivity or video games to tell the story. So the objects placed in the environment give a hint of what is to come. So yeah, here's two helmets suggesting there's a child and an older person. And placement of objects can often direct the eye towards certain areas. So it kind of angled the scooter and these elements to point towards the horizon. So people naturally want to move in this direction. And there's also the concept of using weenies, something originally the Disneyland designers made use of, as a term originally from the idea of like a sausage that would draw a dog to want to go to eat. Kind of a bizarre name, but that's what they call it, weenies. So weenies can mean anything that's maybe a little farther away, often something larger that will draw the eye towards it. So can you see any weenies here in the distance? Well, there's the sun. This is often a something useful also for knowing which direction you're facing. So in this game, yeah, you can get disoriented sometimes. If without the sun, you might not even know which direction you're facing. So yeah, there's something that makes people want to move in that direction. Also these things in the distance. So, yeah. And this was kind of I kind of had to, I don't know, in the LightX, they only have the light source set at a 45-degree angle, so I tilted the whole world so that the shadows would line up with this sun, which I place in the sky. So yeah, okay. And the sun is basically an object that's just fixed at a specific distance to the camera, and it follows the camera pretty much. It's not actually something far away, it's quite close, but it's just attached to the camera, so it seems like it's far away. Kind of like parented to the camera, but when you turn, obviously it doesn't turn with the camera, it stays fixed there. And I make use of that several times with things that are affixed to the position of the camera. It kind of follows the camera around, or follows the player around. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a limitation of the LightX. It'd be nice if they had, like, they let you upload an image, that like a 360 image that could fill the sky. And I tried to do that originally. I placed like my own image of the sky with the sun there. However, the problem is when you move, then that sun gets larger and larger, which doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be able to, like, when you walk towards the sun, you obviously don't see it get larger and larger because it's so far away. So ideally, I'd like, if hopefully they can do it, have an option for the skybox. I mean, that should be the default option, I think, where things just stay fixed where they are, and you cannot, no matter how you walk, it doesn't come closer. Like, shouldn't be like you walking to the edge of a dome. This is kind of like what the skybox is, like a dome, an image that fills the sky, or sky dome, or sky box. That's the concept. Okay, so the core mechanic, I guess you say, of the game is you are moving along and you constantly see things very far in the distance. I guess a lot of time has passed, right? Let me just refresh it. Start from the beginning. So yeah, you see the ocean, and yeah, if you play the game, spoilers again, you may have noticed already the ocean continuously shrinks. So yeah, you have these things far in the distance that you move towards. And yeah, so here's the first thing. And yeah, I added footstep sounds. When you're walking in sand, you can hear the crunching of the sand. And then when you walk on the wood, you hear the different sound. And one good design principle for footsteps is don't have one sound effect for footsteps, because that gets really repetitive and it sounds fake. People will notice it. So if you can have a few different footstep sounds and just randomly alternate between them, then it will sound much more natural. So I did do that for the sand. Some of them are, I don't know, maybe I should have differentiated it more, but there are 4 different sand sound effects, and I think there were 3 or 2, I can't remember, different sounds for the walking on wood. So yeah, there's one design principle for sound design and footsteps. And in my game, it's especially important because I want to emphasize the sense of distance. And later on, you'll see too that the gap or the interval between the footsteps will play a part in kind of helping people understand your physical state. All right, so yeah, I put this here just to kind of reward people who want are curious and explore a little more. So anywhere, like any kind of situation where people might take or might be curious and take a slightly extra step. So this situation, some people might just see this and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. There's a beach, a lifeguard house, and they'll just keep moving. But some people might be curious and think, well, I wonder if anything's up there more than what I can see. So any situation like that, you should think, well, can I just give some sort of small reward to the player? It doesn't have to be something dramatic. Just, even if it's not an exploratory, like, narrative game, you can just put something else, like a coin or something there that people can pick up. And it's just like an acknowledgement, hey, yeah, I'm rewarding your curiosity, or your intuition is right. There is a little bit something extra here. Yeah, so that's the first thing. And this is a little bit of storytelling to suggest the characters who will play into this story, who they are. You don't know exactly who you are yet as a player, but you know there's some sort of child here. Okay, so let's keep moving here. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, in the beginning, I'll just refresh. In the beginning, I put a little bit of grass here just to obfuscate what is happening. Because I don't want people, like, if there's no greenery at all, people kind of just immediately feel this is a desert. Even though there's water in the distance, they just feel it's a desert. I didn't want that. I wanted people to actually feel this is a beach, even though it's not. But I wanted people to have kind of have the rug pulled out slightly, subtly, slowly. And so the grass kind of is like a red herring. People think, yeah, it's just a normal beach. Okay, so let's keep moving here. And in terms of sound effects, I use that to obfuscate also where you are. So when you start off, there's a subtle sound of an ocean surf, but it's so subtle and so far, it could almost be mistaken for wind. There's a bit of ambiguity there. So this sound comes up again later, and it kind of blends the two environments, like between the desert and the beach. So yeah, the ocean surf is very ambiguous. Oh, and also, there's a lot of things I'm forgetting. Also, in terms of user experience, there's some, like, I made the walking speed quite fast because the whole point of this game is to walk long distances. Like, you're going to very distant things in the horizon. But sometimes you want to look more closely at things. So, for example, here, you might want to read this. So originally when I designed this, I found because the movement is quite fast, it's hard to look carefully at things. So I added almost like a ray. There's a something extending out from the camera, and if it hits the hitbox of some specific areas, like here, there's a hitbox. A hitbox means, well, you probably know, but it means like an invisible shape that if the camera or sometimes it's a ray coming out of the camera, if that intersects with it, then something can happen. So if you're looking at it, then the movement slows down, so you can read things more carefully. So it's good to give consideration to, what is comfortable for people. What do people want to do, and how can you make it more comfortable for them to do that? So I want to make sure it's comfortable to look more carefully at things you probably want to look more carefully at. Okay. Yeah. So this one, not as essential. There's not that much to look at, so I didn't really add a slowdown hitbox here. And there's another slowdown hitbox here, because you might want to look a little more closely at this. And originally, the way I designed the hitboxes was that they were literally just a box, and when you entered the box, it would slow down. But the problem is sometimes you're not even looking at it. Like maybe you're just walking beside it like this. You don't want it to slow down when you're walking beside it. You only want it to slow down when you're looking at it. So that's why I changed it to having something. I'll show you. Let me see. Can I show you? There's a shape extending out of the camera, and I'll give you a little image of that in a moment. So yeah, there's something extending out of the camera. So when you look at the object, then it slows down. Your movement slows down. And back to the idea of rewarding curiosity. Is there anything here you think players might be a little curious, or they might be extra, inquisitive? So maybe think, I wonder if there's anything in the bucket. Well, yeah, so I put a little bird in there. default asset of the LedX. There's some interesting default assets that serve the purpose for making some simple games, but you can import all your own assets too. It's great. You can import your own rigged animated models too. So it's really great program. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's keep going. So here's another object. So in the beginning, I put more normal objects that you would expect to find on the beach, because I did want people to feel like they were just on a normal beach at first. But as you move on, the objects get more and more bizarre. Here is an airplane, which you will find out more what it is about later. And in terms of placement of objects, I made it so that there's a zigzag pattern. Originally, I had them all just in a straight line, which creates a very, I don't know, static feeling. It's boring. And also means that if an object is in front of another object, it blocks the one further away. So automatically, I just zigzagged them, kind of like programmatically. I just made it so that you could, as I selected which objects appeared in what order, it would just zigzag them. One over this side, on the right, one over on the left. Okay, so here is the research equipment. Originally, I wanted to do more audio logs, like you'd hear the voice of the girl. But I stopped that because I felt that having, describing things with objects is more expressive and more, I don't know, it lets players use their imagination more and slowly piece things together themselves more. Okay, sorry, my face got frozen. I'm back now. Alright. What are we talking about? Yeah, so I did the environmental storytelling with these elements. So as you look at these objects, you get a sense, oh hey, some sort of researcher. And the hat automatically gets picked up and put on. So you are either a thief or this has some connection with you. Okay. Alright. Oh yeah, regarding the hat. Originally I had more elements that you needed to click on. But I thought, what can I subtract to make the experience more streamlined? So I thought, well, why bother having people click on things when there's barely anything to click on, and like the same thing could just happen automatically. So I made it the hat just gets put on automatically. So generally, yeah, I think the game would not work as well if like only the hat was or only if there were only one or two items that you clicked on, and most of the game is just you walking and looking at things, then it might be better just to not have those things be clickable and just make it happen automatic. But however, if more of the game involves you picking up objects and really manipulating things, then of course you want to have more interaction. But this is mostly about just observation and piecing things together in your brain. Most of the game happens in the player's brain. That's the mystery. So that's I really like designing mystery-based games because the mechanic is mostly just observation, and the puzzle solving happens. Like it doesn't even have to require you to implement puzzles that you interact with. They can just all be in the player's brain. But of course, some games, like if you have that type of storytelling and then you have some sort of puzzle which forces them to demonstrate their understanding by manipulating something, that can be very good too. Very rewarding, and that's a way to lock and key away certain things by forcing them to demonstrate they understand, like they piece things to get together in their brain correctly. So that's yeah. But this is such a short game that was not needed for such a short experience. I just wanted to tell a pretty straightforward story. Yeah. And also, if you do have something that's clickable and early on, then people kind of have the expectation there's a lot more things you can click on. And if you don't implement that, then it feels almost broken or lazy almost. I don't know. So, yeah. Design by subtraction. Fumito Ueda's design philosophy. Yeah? See what you can remove to make the experience more focused. Okay, so let's keep going here. Here's the next item. I'll let it play out first and I'll talk about everything. Okay, so this is where things start to get really bizarre. And then the slightly creepy, but not completely creepy. I didn't want this to be a horror game per se. So slightly unnerving music, but also strangely calming and surreal at the same time. So that's why I chose that music. And yeah, why was there a stick and a crab like coming out? Well, I wanted people to turn around and be shocked by something they saw after they turn around. So I wanted to have some element that would direct people's eye to a certain place. And that's one key design principle of VR or 3D games. You can't really force people's view to shift. Like, if I just force the camera to go like that, people don't really like it. It feels unnatural. It's kind of like it's breaking the format of the medium. The medium is interactivity. You are looking around. You control. You are the player. So if someone grabbed your head and just twisted you to look in another way, that feels not good. You've kind of lost your agency. And players, I mean, I don't know, maybe a lot of people are used to cutscenes, but I would say cutscenes are not the greatest in video games unless they're very short, because you're playing a game, you're not watching a movie. You want to take advantage of the strengths of the medium. So how much better is it to just direct people's eye using movement or color or lighting or things, design elements to direct people where to look? That's much more powerful. Imagine Jonathan Blow, designer of Braid and The Witness, he commented on, imagine you go to a movie, watch a movie, and then all of a sudden a wall of text, like middle of the movie, there's a bunch of text that comes and you're supposed to read it to understand what happens next. That would be very annoying. However, if you're reading a book, of course, that's fine. That's what you expect. So you gotta take advantage of the medium, use the strengths of the medium. Don't start pretending you're working in another medium. So yeah, I'm looking at you, Hideo Kojima. So yeah, take advantage of what the medium is all about. Like in the early days when they first started making movies and film, they pretty much just filmed stage plays. So the camera didn't move. It was very boring in terms of it didn't have any of the vocabulary that people were so familiar with in film now, like camera cuts, zoom in, zoom up, pans, all those techniques. So it's good to think about how you can really take advantage of the strengths of the medium. Yeah, so yeah, giant castle. Maybe there's some things hidden in it. Right. So yeah, gonna keep going here. Well, thanks for watching up to here. If you want to check out more of my games, you can go to anv.itch.io. And if you feel like dropping a donation, you can get the second half of this video on itch.io. And if you feel like, please subscribe or sign up for my mailing list, and you'll be notified when I make something new. Probably won't be more than a month or two when you'll get an email. So that's probably the best way if you want to be notified when there's something new, to sign up to the mailing list. So you can find all the links in the description. All right, thanks. Bye.